my beloved soul family who have been with me for so many decades. I'm really excited today. I'm sitting here in the garden of our lovely West Palm Beach home that I share with my beloved husband of 19 years. And this is the first chapter of the book which follows the memoir, my traditionally published memoir, Confessions of a Jewish SHIKSA, which ends with us getting married 19 years ago. So it's really quite perfect to begin chapter 1 here in the garden of our condo. And my book, the second memoir, which follows the first memoir, as I said, is called I Tried to Be Normal, But It Was Taken, which I have used that title for a number of my different wacky, comedic performances. And I want to reference back to the fact that my memoir, Confessions of a Jewish SHIKSA, by the way, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. My publisher still has it for sale on his site, MOSAIC, that's Howard Astor. But this is going to be a video book and ultimately an audio book. And I wanted to reference that my memoir, Confessions of a Jewish SHIKSA, ended with my husband and I being wed, and a very dear to my heart person in my life expressed authentically their opinion. And this chapter is really about just that, differences of opinions, which is such a hot topic in the world, especially now with what's going on in our blessed world, and all of the conflicts from governmental to political to physical to financial, you name it. And certainly how we deal with differences of opinion in marriage. So my blessed friend, who happens to be an extremely highly acclaimed journalist, expressed to me how much she loved my book and thought it was terrific, which was a beautiful compliment, especially coming from her, as she is a genius writer, but thought that it was very non-feminist of me to end the book with being married. Now, that never sat comfortably with me, in the sense that nothing could possibly get me to love this person any less. But I never understood that comment. As somebody who has lived alone for many years, and has been married once, that would be me, I cannot think, and certainly after 19 years of being married to my beloved Danny, of anything more feminist, which to me is all about standing in my true mama bear power as a lover, as somebody who is not afraid of expressing my opinion at the cost of other people around me feeling tension, or me feeling tension, as long, and this is what I believe, and this is my definition of a true feminist, is somebody who comes from love, who stands in love. So that being said, I feel strongly, and this is also from having worked with many clients and guests on my, various broadcasts and so forth, and taught workshops, I feel very strongly that relationship between two people is actually not about the two people. It is about the space between the two people, whether it is a romantic relationship between a mother and daughter, a single mother, between a same-sex couple, between anyone, relationships, a teacher and their student. It is not about the two people. It is about the space and how we handle differences of opinion, which are normal. Having arguments is a good thing. It all depends on how we handle it. So one of the biggest benefits, I'm navigating my selfie stick here, that I have received from being in a relationship with Danny, because like me, Danny was raised in a war zone. And to me, one of the most beautiful things that we can do is realize that every second is precious. We are not guaranteed time. So as quickly as we can resolve any differences of opinion, which is really all that an argument is, we're not talking about if there's a line walking through our condo here in West Palm Beach, which, the chances are not that high. We're talking about differences of opinion and triggers and how we were raised and who we patterned and how our parents were raised and on and on and on. It is about the space between us and how quickly we can find resolution and peace. That does not mean we don't express our opinions. And so this second memoir is really about finding our way back home to love, and yet still having differences of opinion. I was raised, and also, listen, not all my not all my sentences are going to be complete. My senses are pretty good. But I want to encourage you not to take yourselves too ferociously seriously, in the sense that if you say something in life that maybe doesn't come out right, try not to care too much what other people think of you, but instead stay as much in the flow of love and kindness to your divine blessed self as you can, beloveds, as opposed to getting uptight and freaking out and having an internal war with yourself. Because once again, a relationship is not about the people. It is about the space between the people. And also, it is about that breathing space, that love space that I have, that you have, that each of us individually has with ourselves. A space of love, a space of breath, a space of playfulness. Humor is so helpful in terms of how we relate to self and then, of course, to others. So having been raised in a type of war zone, because my parents happen to be Holocaust survivors and really beautiful, wonderful, wise, genius, loving people, and at the same time, the war never ended in our home, sadly. I'm sure when they started out, they were very much in love and all was well. But life happens. And what I have learned is learning to be as loving with myself and as kind and gentle and yet authentic, to the point where I am not worried about having an opinion that differs with somebody else. Oh my goodness, am I going to cause tension? Because that is not being kind and loving. That being said, and I know when somebody's simply not ready to hear what you have to say. But what I will say from a very loving and powerful place is learning to come from love, to know that there is a, whatever you want to call it, higher power, unified field of love, God, Goddessa, the big, schnitzel maker in the sky riding a unicycle with monkeys coming out of its asshole. It doesn't matter what you call it. Let's have some fun and know that we are so loved. And if you realize that your selfie stick is a little bit heavy, and that you need to change hands, that's okay. That's okay, even if it gets in front of your beautiful hot pink, kind of like Flintstonian. All right, now, the best part of this whole experience is giving it to God, Goddessa, to love. To know that the best thing we can do is stay in integrity with the unified field of love, whether it is a relationship between two people or you and yourself. How do you do that? Well, what I have learned from my many years of having the privilege of leading workshops and having clients and interviewing people online live and having clients at our center, and I'll get to that in the next chapter. We have a scalar energy center in essence, in layperson's terms. I said I'm not going to get to it now, so don't push me. Stop telling me to move forward. I'm going to stick with what I'm talking about. So important to have fun and be silly and goofy and playful as much as we can. So finding our way back home to love, as opposed to having a really toxic case of, I have to be right. I must be right. If I don't become right, I'm being taken advantage of. Well, listen, I'm not talking about abuse. And, there can be many forms of aggression that occur in relationships because of how we were raised. And that's not okay. I'm not talking about circumstances that are obviously toxic. But most of the time, it's just an opinion. And isn't it interesting if, for example, I don't know, my timing is off with something. And, let's say, I, have to stay at our center, which I'll get to in the next chapter a little later. And I, perhaps told my beloved husband that I'm going to meet him somewhere and I'm running late. That it's circumstantial in my case. And really, as far as I'm concerned, he should be open to it. But maybe if my beloved husband is late, and it's not because of something that I can justify, that I might just get my knickers in a twist. You know what I mean? So it's really fun to look at how we evaluate wrong and right when it comes to, and one of the very most powerful, beautiful resources we have, as I mentioned earlier, is standing in love, finding our way home to love. So how do you do that when you're adrenalized, when perhaps you've been raised in a kind of a war zone, as I have, and my husband happens to be from the Middle East, a real war zone. So we have that energy. We have seen our parents not be excellent, shall we say, to be kind, at resolving conflict. So what do? Well, I have discovered what I call frumming, humming, because my name's Franny, so I call it frumming. It's an ancient discipline to me because my antenna were up. I asked during the on-the-go modality to help soothe my clients and my beloveds when they were triggered, when their nervous system was out of whack, whether it was because of a conflict in a relationship, a conflict with a relationship with self, which is the most important, being triggered in traffic by that phone call, sitting next to some cuckapoo person at a dinner party. How do you deal with it? Humming with love consciousness, beloveds, is the fastest way to create a space between your thoughts and your nervous system. So you calm the down, okay? And that is a wonderful thing to do when you're in conflict with someone. Break away, make doing this and keeping love, the space between you, the highest and the most potent and important energy. Not you being right and wrong, not so easy to do, but you know what you do? You go off to the bathroom, you go for a walk, you say, and the other person, if it's yourself, must respect it. If you are a couple or if you are, friends, you cannot chase after the other person, you know, around the restaurant or around the center or around your home if they say they need 5 minutes to chill out. It is not cool. Give them 5 minutes. It will be worth it. And then you from. What is frowning, you may ask? Well, let me tell you. It's so easy. All you do is breathe in through your nose, which is where your this is, by the way, science fact. And on my Facebook and YouTube channels, I have a video. It has quite a lot of views. And it's all about the science that's behind humming, which I didn't know. I started to hum when I asked for the fastest, easiest on-the-go modality for clients and beloveds to soothe that. So to soothe their nervous system, I don't know what's coming through, but all of a sudden I sound like Vinny. Okay, to soothe their nervous system. I started to hum and I was thinking, why am I humming? So then I researched it. And as I said, it's thousands of years old. Yogis have been using humming for all different kinds of yoga practices. It is the most primordial sound. Babies and mothers hum, autistic kids hum, people with dementia and Parkinson's hum, and all you do is you hum with love consciousness. So I'm going to end this chapter by frumming, and I want you to please practice this beautiful, beautiful, easy modality, which you can do a much easier, quicker version of in the car. If somebody cuts you off, if you're triggered, if you can't sleep in the middle of the night, I cannot tell you how many of my clients, how many have said if they, cannot sleep in the middle of the night, if they wake up, all they do is from. And even people who aren't able to sit up are lying on their back and humming. So here's what you do. I want you to put your hand on your heart, and I want you to realize your heart has been beating all of these years that you've been alive without you asking it to. So let us just first start with thanking it. Thank our beautiful heart. Thank love consciousness. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if you could not feel love? Your heart has a brain. This is science. It has a magnetic field around it. That is, and frumming multiplies your electromagnetic field massively. Check out the heart map rather for specifics. Now, I want you to know you're releasing 50 times more nitrous oxide by simply exhalation. Science fact. You're releasing your DMT from your pineal gland. This is drugs, baby, that you could create from your own body to soothe your nervous system. So here's all you do. Hand back on the heart. We're going to breathe in through our nose, our nostrils to activate the special mucosal cells. We're going to do this just 3 times today because I don't want these chapters to be too long. So breathing in through your nose for 4, and we're going to hold at the top for 6. Here we go. Hold, 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 hold. Exhaling on the word home with your lips slightly pressed together. Home. We're going to do it 2 more times. I want your hand back on your heart. And I want you now to close your eyes. And in your heart, I want you to feel so much love and appreciation for your sweet self. And I want you to think of someone you love and put their heart in your heart. Imagine this. Imagine, that's where the word imagine comes from. And we're going to now, eyes closed, breathe in for 4 and hold it at the top. 4, hold, 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 hold. Exhale on the word home. You must press your lips gently together to activate these beautiful chemicals, melatonin, nitrous oxide, DMT. We're going to do it 1 more time, eyes open. So this time, Hannah, I want you to put your heart inside your heart. I know, crazy. I want you to love the frick out of yourself. This is such a beautiful time in the world to be alive. Oh, and this book, I tried to be normal, but it was taken, is the best title to describe what's going on in the world. So much is being revealed. Oh my goodness, we are going into the golden age, which is already in the quantum. Everything is. And the next chapter will be really about allowing in what's already here, what we can raise and attract to us and relish. It is so beautiful to do together with Frumming, because having a regulated nervous system is a starting point. You do not want to create when you are out of alignment and dealing with low frequencies, which are not normal. We've been told it's normal to feel shame, blame, pain, guilt, fear, anxiety, cockapoo-poo. Nonsense. So we're going to do one more. I want you to put your hand on your beautiful heart. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe into your heart. I want you to wrap your heart inside your heart. Just feel so much love and appreciation and thanks for yourself, for everything that you've done. Allow yourself to love the frick out of yours. I said frick. And now open your eyes and breathing in for 4 through your nose and holding at the top. Here we go. 2, 4, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale on the word home. And that, my friend, has been your welcome, my darling love family, to my first chapter of I Tried to Be Normal, but It Was Taken video book. And I will also turn it into an audio book. And if you are interested in my first memoir, which is traditionally published, called Confessions of a Jewish SHIKSA, it is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and MOSAIC, my publisher's website. But truly, I am not that interested in backstory anymore because it kept me stuck. Writing my memoir was my way of exiting being a professional memoirist for decades internationally, and it served me beautifully for a long time. You know, it allowed me many accolades, mayoral awards, and I attracted Hollywood and so on, because you see, it was a secret that I was told would get me killed if I revealed, and many members of my family actually threatened me with legal action when I first transformed my story, The Secret, into a solo show in 1995. But the good news is they publicly thanked me for having given them the courage to be public with The Secret, because we know that old adage, we're as sick as our secrets. However, including my 86-year-old father, I do feel that he wants me to share this with you from non-physical. My 86-year-old father, who was living undercover in his native Vienna, Austria, publicly came out with his so-called secret and thanked me for giving him the courage to do so because of my work. It isn't me, it is through me. This is a time in the world where we're receiving all kinds of information, but after it was healing, it became toxic to constantly go back in and relive my story. It was like, ripping off a scab. And so I have stopped going into backstory. I lead workshops and I coach people privately, and we don't do backstory. If we need to, look at something happy, well, duh, yeah, but just little bullet points, because it keeps us stuck in the frequency of the past. And on that note, I want to remind you you can replay this. Frumming is such a beautiful way to unstuck you from lower frequencies, keep you present, aligned with your heart-brain coherence, and I look forward very much to the next chapter of I Tried to Be Normal, but it was taken, where we will discuss heart-brain coherence and more of what went on, what happened after Confessions of a Jewish Shiksa. Chapter 2 will be next, and I want to send so much love to everybody. I encourage you to be so kind to yourself. Endless, bottomless oceans of love to everyone.